I think we are live. Okay, if you're live with us, go to Panache Track Team Live. If you're on the replay, go to Panache Track Team Replay. And I am so excited. Like I said, I'm Shawn Q, your high ticket sales coach. I'm obviously not in my headquarters or the studio. I am in my wife's office. I decided to take a day to work from home. I mean, that's what I love about being a boss, right? Like being the business leader, you can work from home. I have one of my favorite people here with me today that I am just so excited to share a lot of the insights that she's come up with over the last, I think we've worked together for 3 years, and she's watched the content that we've put out, and she's been a part of our programs. And what's really great about Valerie is she is an implementer. She takes action. She doesn't just consume information. And so Valerie is a mindset coach specializing in helping you overcome all the junk that's in your mind so that you can do everything that you've been called to do. So Valerie, thanks so much for spending time with me today.
Shawn, thank you so much for the opportunity. I always love to be able to have time with you and help you out with getting the word out about what you do because it's so needed.
Oh, thank you. So I got my my mug. I actually got this in San Diego, and it's my donut mug, which is pretty awesome. And this is pretty awesome because I'm on a low carb, no processed sugar diet. So this is as close as a donut I'm going to get. So anyways, I'm super excited. And Valerie, I brought you on because I wanted to hear a little bit of the insights that you've received as you've gone through the process that we teach in our challenge and our content and our training, and hear from you directly how that has impacted you. So let me just kind of start from the beginning. What would you say are the top biggest things that have been most useful for you as you and I have worked together over the last 3 years?
So I would say starting out just with the clients or with the One Client Away challenge that's coming up, just seeing the whole process and having a system, because I tend to be more of a creative, fly by the seat of my pants. Yes, I'll implement and then I'll do that. Okay. And then next and next and next, right? And not ever really follow a system. So I think having that system has been really helpful for people like me who are system challenged, or at least in creating my own. So I think with the One Client Away challenge, I think that's been one of the big things. Another big thing that's been really helpful is market research, but your specifics, how to go about it, right? You have people will tell you, oh, do market research and what's your avatar, and even some of that stuff I still would be challenged with, if I have to all the psychographics and all of that kind of stuff, sometimes it still gets me. But even in what I have implemented, it's been really helpful. Like we were talking about earlier, we in our industries, we tend to use our industry language. So mindset would be an industry language for me. But most people are like, mindset? What's mindset? Which is kind of how I got into it, because everybody kept talking about, oh, everything was horrible until my mindset changed. I'm like, well, tell me how to change my mindset, right? And I wasn't getting that listening to people. But in doing the interviews and the market research that you share with us is where I learned, oh, my people are struggling with procrastination, perfectionism, and overwhelm. Oh, I can help that, right? And so that, I think, has been a game changer, because now when I create marketing pieces, back when we still could meet people in person, I was doing little postcards. And as soon as I put those things on there, people go, oh, yes, I have all of these things, right? And that piece had totally been missing for me for so long, being able to convey what I do one-to-one in print for a mass audience.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So the two things I think I heard was system and really being able to understand your market. And I want to kind of touch on both of these. So when it comes to the system, if you're an Enneagram fan and you're watching live, let me know what your Enneagram type is. I'm an Enneagram 3. Valerie, what are you?
7.
You're an Enneagram 7, which is the one, the free spirit. You want to do everything, and you're so spontaneous, so adventurous. So when you hear system, how does that align with that personality type, and how has our system been unique and different for you?
That is a good question. And it's interesting because we have to be careful of the words that we say, right? Because on the one hand, I could say, oh, I'm bad with systems. But on the other hand, I could look back into my way past when I was working at a shoe repair shop, and their system that they had for shoes was like horrible. And I created a whole system for them that they continued to use after I left, right? So I can still, yes, I can create systems, right? I create systems. They just don't last for me for very long because the 7 gets bored with it, right? And then we move on to a new system. So one, being careful with the language. Now I did a tangent. I'm like, wait, what was the question again?
I love it. So first of all, I do want to applaud you in recognizing that language barrier that a lot of people put on themselves. Is they say like, I'm bad at, whether that's I'm bad at sales, or I'm bad at systems, or I'm bad at consistency or following through. And when you really begin to uncover who you really are, who you truly are, you're able to show up and recognize, I'm not bad at that. I just haven't learned how to do it yet. Or I'm learning how to do it, or I'm developing that skill. And you begin to function in, I think, what's going to be a growth mindset, which is something you help people kind of work.
Right. Yeah. Now I remembered the question. You said, how did I feel about the whole systems thing, right? Because that word for an Enneagram 7 is, and so I think by the time we were working together, I knew I needed systems, but I also knew that wasn't my strong point, and that wasn't what how my brain worked. So I knew I was going to have to outsource that, right? So I wasn't to the point where I could just like hire an admin person or a VA or what is it? Oh, an administrative assistant to come alongside and do all of that for me. And so I was looking for other ways to make that happen. And that's what I got with, that's what I've been getting with working with you, is that you do develop these systems. And while I may not follow them all perfectly, it still has helped a lot and gotten me, a lot farther than I've gotten on my own.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what's really incredible about watching you do work is, like, for example, yesterday we had like a full day intensive with you and a couple other people who have also taken the challenge. And it was pretty incredible to watch all of you follow a system and take action and figure out how you're going to market your business over the next 3 months and understand how you're going to show up for your audience and make space for them and be the leader that you're called to be and come up with content that's going to call out the best in them. That was a system, and you followed it gracefully and beautifully, which is pretty incredible. The other thing you mentioned was market, understanding your market and communicating using their language. Tell me a little bit more about that part.
So whatever our industry is, whether it's finances, real estate, like whatever it is, we have our industry language and those go-to terms. Like I could start talking to you about your reticular activating system, cognitive dissonance, and mindset, right? Growth mindset, all of that. But that's all industry language, right? And so, you've done a lot of that work, so you understand all of that. But if I'm talking to my Christian business owners who I like to work with, mindset, that maybe I've heard the term, but I'm not exactly sure what it means. And right, so how do we convey that quickly, right? Because you talk about the elevator, like if you've only got 30 seconds with somebody, and I'm still honing that sentence down or two, but still, even just like I would go to different events and put postcards together, and it was all verbiage and wordy, and it didn't connect with anybody. So after I started doing the market research.
I love it. And, it really resonates with something that I talk about with a lot of people who try to market their work, is they're marketing, but they don't understand the market. And if you don't understand your market, you're literally wasting time, energy, money on any kind of advertising or any kind of, promotion that you're doing, because you're not speaking their language. And I use this example quite often. Me and my wife, we went to a foreign country. We're from the US, so we went to another country for our honeymoon, like almost 5 years ago, which is crazy. And I remember when we were down there, everyone was speaking the native language, obviously. And there was this one point where we were in a restaurant and I heard someone speaking with an American accent, English, and it immediately perked my ears. I looked and we became like best friends for that moment. And so when you begin to learn how to speak your client's language and not your own language, immediately their ears are going to perk. They're going to say, this person gets me, and they're going to want to become friends with you. And which we teach in the challenge, when you start selling, you never want to sell to strangers. You always want to sell to friends. So the whole purpose of this process is to become friends with your audience and to really build those relationships. So that's pretty incredible. What would you say to somebody who is like, I've taken challenges before. Why another challenge?
Right, another challenge. Yeah. Really quick, before I answer that question, because I just want to pong off of what you were saying. One of the other things that I got from the challenge that I loved about you and your system is the whole idea of serving to the sell. And one of the other things that I learned in the challenge actually was, what were my non-negotiables, right? And that's just as much a part of, your best client as well, and understanding who your client is. And one of those qualities for me is they have to have a heart of service. So whether they serve with their time, their money, or their business, right, whatever it is, but they have to have a heart of service. If they're just about themselves and their family, that's great, but that's not my person. So that was one of the other things that I learned. As far as your question about, another challenge. So there's another, since I deal with neural psychology and the pathways and stuff, one of the people that I follow, and I love her and all that, and great information, and I've learned a lot, and I've implemented a lot of what she's shared in her challenges. But a lot of times through the challenge, it's like a veiled sales pitch, which, yes, we know that at the end of a challenge, there's going to be an offer and stuff. But sometimes I feel like so much of the time, and since I've studied, before I focused on mindset, I was focusing on marketing, right? So I see it as like so much of it is just marketing. Like, can we get to the content? Can we get to the core? Can I get the nuggets, right? And I didn't feel that way with yours. I was like, my gosh, this is not a challenge. This is a course. And I was fortunate enough to be in on the challenges when they were free, which they're not anymore. But it is so totally worth it. The amount of content, like I said, just going through the challenges, being able to do market research and come up with what were my non-negotiables and start realizing, there's this system. It took a few times through before I got that sales system and that transition. But even those first steps were just so helpful. And it was just it's so worth the time investment, the monetary investment. And it's not like your typical challenge, which is half hype for what's coming and the other half is some content. It's like yours is like what, 90% content?
Yeah. Yeah. And we actually get that quite often. I've done several people say, Shawn, this is worth $5,000 because I paid $5,000 for a course and I didn't get as much as I'm getting from this challenge. And I've had people say like, Shawn, literally every slide, because I like to use PowerPoints, every slide is a gold nugget. Like I'm screenshotting everything. And so it's been pretty incredible. If you're interested in joining, I just put the link in the chat. Go ahead and click on that link. You're going to be able to join the challenge. And we start this upcoming Monday, which is pretty incredible. Monday through Friday, I'm going to show you exactly how to land a high ticket client. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. Like every single day, it's do this. Okay, you did that? Great. Now next, do this. So that you know exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. A couple of things that we're giving away this time is we're giving away something called the 100 plus places to find clients cheat sheet. So we're breaking it down by industry, and you're never going to have to wonder, where do I find clients? We're giving away the $200,000 sales script. People have used this sales script to land $1,000, $2,000, but I've had one person land a $200,000 client using the script. So it's pretty incredible. And then we're giving away just a ton of other resources that we've never given away before in our challenge. So if you are like, I need to land a client and I need to do it now, and I need to understand my market, and I need to understand how to sell without feeling sleazy, and I need to feel like I want to feel excited during the sales process, this is the challenge for you. So all you got to do is click on that link below in the chat. Valerie, you said something really interesting, and we'll end with this. You said serving to the sale. Tell me a little bit more about what that means and how we go through it within the challenge.
Okay, so and before I share that, I just want to say, yeah, I'm one of those people who gets all those screenshots, and I actually go back and reference them later. I've got folders, my Shawn Q folder and screenshots. So before working with you further than just the one client away challenge, I would go back and refer to those slides and whatnot. So I'm sorry, ask the question again.
You mentioned serving to the sale.
Yeah. So that was, well, first of all, the terminology just resonates with me. And so that is what is so good. So, I mean, like, I'll serve all day long and not get any money. It's like, well, we got to get some money sometime, right? But so that serving to the sale, just your whole process of, just like you do, giving value in this challenge. You know, how can we, whatever our industry is, how can we give value to somebody who we're just meeting for the first time or getting to know? How can we give them value? And then when they're ready, when the time is right, or if they're the right person, right? I mean, because there's all those things. I mean, they might be a great person, but maybe they're just not ready. They're not at that stage to work with you yet, or whatever. It's just like, well, okay, but I can still serve them and maybe give them some resources and send them on the way and continue that relationship. And maybe it's another year or two before they're ready to work with us. Or if they are ready and they're saying, and actually, you know, the best way I think that this has helped the serve through the sale is I did a presentation at an e-commerce conference that I was part of. And then I also set up a networking event after, like the meeting after the meeting, but you can't do that how do we do that in Zoom, right? So I set up one of those and met a lady had consumed my content in that thing. And then she messaged, we became friends because we're local. So we became friends on Facebook. And then she said, hey, you do mindset, right? Yes, I do. Oh, I need to talk. Great. And in the past, it would have been like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? It's like, oh, okay. Now I can have this conversation. I had the conversation. I knew what to do. I was able to go, okay, would you like to know what it would look like to work with me? Yes. And then instead of just going, it's this many dollars. Oh, I can't afford that, right? It's like I had this whole system, right? And because I practiced it, I was able to continue through. I was able to take one of my packages, you know, and adapt it to give her the most value. And it just all flowed, right? And it wasn't like this anxiety thing and what am I going to do and how, you know, it flowed.
So good. I love it. Okay. Look, if you are looking to be able to answer the question, how much do you charge? Lead people to the sale with service, give specific value, and we cover exactly what that value looks like in a sales process, to be able to convert people to high-paying clients and be able to say like, hey, I can charge premium price and land clients that love paying me what I'm worth, then, and what your offer is worth, then take the challenge. Click on the link below. You're going to be able to get access. And I will see you in the challenge. Valerie, you're going to be in the challenge. I'm going to be in the challenge. It's going to be pretty awesome to see everybody taking action and landing clients. We've had people, like I said, during the challenge, land anywhere from $1,500 to $1,000 to $30,000. Last time, I think the total of all the challengers made $60,000. So like this is a money-making challenge and we want to make you money. We're going to show you how to get into the market, how to get those clients, and it's going to be awesome. Okay, Valerie, last word of encouragement.
Get to know Shawn and take the challenge.
I love it. So Valerie, where can people find a little bit more about you?
A little bit more about me. So Inspired Strategic Solutions is my Facebook page. If they are faith-based, mission-driven people, I have a group, Mission-Driven Society. And I don't have that link prayer, but I can get that for you. We can put that in the...
Yeah. So if...
I'll put it in the comments after this.
Do it. So go follow Valerie. Go have a conversation with Valerie. Ask her